In silence they sleep, in stone they're bound, yet whispers echo from underground. No eyes have seen, no hands have bled, still stains appear where lie the dead. Two names etched in weathered stone, Kate and Edith, forever alone. But why do their markers weep red tears, a tale of sorrow or darker fears? When shadows stir and silence speaks, a tale begins, the fire seeks. Riverside Cemetery is located in Appleton, Wisconsin, and is home to one of the country's most interesting legends. It is a headstone located on a secluded road in the cemetery. The resting place itself stands alone and overlooks the river. However, the headstone itself is large and very beautifully crafted, which indicates that it must have been a valuable piece in its time. If you are lucky enough to find this resting place, you will find the grave of none other than Kate Blood. The path to Kate's Blood grave itself is located among the trees. Visitors can see the moon shining through the leaves or the sun glinting on the waves of the Fox River, and on windy days you can hear the water washing over the shore. In short, it is a very peaceful place. But while the picture I have painted for you is peaceful, the legend surrounding Kate Blood is the complete opposite. Some swear that when the moon is full, blood flows down the front of the headstone, obscuring Kate's name and the year of her birth and death. Others claim that a strange warmth emanates from the headstone, even on the coldest of nights. Still others swear that they have seen a woman crouching behind the headstone, as if to hide from those who approach it. Like all cursed headstones across the country, Kate's Blood grave has an accompanying story that theoretically explains what happened to cause the blood to flow from the headstone. Now, according to Appletown legend, people called Kate a witch, but that's not the only one she was called. One version is that Kate was the victim of a murder, which explains why the blood is dripping from her tombstone, a kind of ghostly reminder that the cause of her death was not being investigated and is waiting for someone to bring her justice. But the most common stories are that Kate killed her husband with an axe, or that her husband killed her with the same method. Another rumor is that Kate killed her only child, yet another variation is that Kate killed 3 of her children, even though historical records show that she only had 1 child. While most legends have some roots in facts, the stigma that surrounds Kate Blood is completely unfounded. So much so that quite a few Appleton residents are trying to clear Kate's name. Although legend has it that she did terrible things, in reality Kate's life is far more tragic than the fictional part of her story could have ever been. Kate Marcia Blood was born on 4th of May 1851. Her parents were Colonel Henry L. Blood and Teresa Blood, who were early settlers in the area and helped plan the town. Henry L. Blood helped found Lawrence University in the town and was the first president of the Grand Chute. According to her father's book that he wrote about his life, Kate attended Lawrence University and was well known. Her nickname was Kitty, and she had many friends in the town. Kate was described as a beautiful, successful, kind, and pleasant woman who came from a prosperous Methodist background and was loved by all who know her. Kate married George M. Miller, who worked for the Appleton Post newspaper in May 1872. But Kate's life was short and not without tragedy. Kate's first child, a boy, died when he was just an infant. Kate later gave birth to a daughter too, who was named Zana Catherine Miller. Zana became a librarian as an adult. She worked in various libraries, including Lawrence University Library, the Library Bureau of Chicago, and finally the North Dakota Library as a committee director. Zana even wrote books about library work, including How to Organize a Library. She died in Chicago, 1966, at the age of 92. But let's get back to Kate. Like many others at the time, Kate fell ill to the dreaded tuberculosis, and like many others, people thought the change of air would do her good, so Kate went out to South to recover. Kate became one of thousands who went to Colorado in the hope that the fresh air of the state would help her regain her health. Unfortunately, Kate did not survive the terrible disease and died on December 29th. 1874. Instead of returning healthy, her body was brought back by train in a coffin. Her death was mourned by the entire town. Kate left behind the only 2-year-old Zana and her husband. Kate was only 23 years old. So yes, she was not a witch, nor an ex-murderer, nor a murder victim. It was the tragic nature of her life that led her untimely death. This begs the question, however, when and how did these rumors begin? Now, these rumors are said to have started later in the 1900s. Speculations has it that the location of Kate's grave, which was said to be far from the other graves, was what made people wonder why this grave was so far away from the others. Is there a curse on it? Did someone try to cover up the evidence? Or was it to set an example? The reality may surprise you. Because the thing is, Kate was buried near the old entrance to the cemetery, and in fact from 1874 until the early 1900s, Kate's grave was the first thing people saw when they entered the place. However, in 1910, the entrance was changed, moving it from Green Bay Road to Quaista Street. Another reason for the legend being so widespread was none other than her family name, Blood. With a name like that, and the fact that Kate's grave is hard to find unless you know where to look, it's easy to come up with legends. People have always been interested in the unexplained and the strange. A grave with a name like Blood attracts theories and rumors which can spread like wildfire if truly terrifying or tragic events are mentioned that are associated with it. However, where the belief that blood oozes from the gravestone comes from is unknown. Nevertheless, on Halloween night in October, when the light of the full moon can be seen, people still gather around the grave to see blood appear on the gravestone. Several researchers have also gone to this grave to document the events, but none of the groups have been able to record or personally experience the paranormal phenomena. But today I have another story for you, so come closer to the fire. Kate Blood is not the only Blood whose story was completely distorted after her death, and something completely different was fabricated from it. While Blood is a very common English name, there is something that connects two women, and no, it's not because they related. We have heard about Kate so far, so now let's see the story of Edith Blood. From what I have actually found about her, and let me tell you, it is not much, but it is still interesting that these two women with the same last name, Blood, have bleeding tombstones according to legends. You will find many ghost stories if you read about Virginia. However, Woodmore Cemetery is also famous for a tombstone, the final resting place of Edith Blood. People may even know Edith as Mother Blood. This tombstone is located near the entrance to the cemetery, unlike Kate's tombstone. But the nickname itself is not accidental, because theoretically in October, according to people, blood oozes from the tombstone on Halloween's night. There are red spots on the headstone, which many people think is blood. This is exactly why a legend was born that Mother Blood was a midwife who was rumored to murder babies. And here comes the same story as with Kate, because there is no historical record that Mother Blood or Edith Blood committed such atrocities. In reality, Mother Blood's name was Edith Blood, who died in 1939 at the age of 60. And that's really all is known about her. And there is a completely logical explanation for the red spots in her case as well, which is that the tombstone itself has simply aged over the years, and that the clip that held the vase in which flower can be placed has stained the tombstone where it was attached to it. Even though neither woman's tombstone bleeds, people still want to see this phenomenon. So, what really started these legends? Why is it that people choose someone and make them heroes or villains? Here are two women who died decades apart, hundreds of miles apart, and yet people choose them as villains because of their names. Legends take shape in a strange way, even though they have no historical ground. One after the other, people come and go, but one thing remains. At the end of the day, these women's sins were not revealed in their actions, but in 5 letters carved in stone. If you enjoyed this tale, there's more to unfold, flickering stories in the fire's warm hold. But if this is all the time you have tonight, thank you for joining, for sharing the light. I whisper my thanks as the embers burn bright and wait for you here in the soft firelight. My name is Creeps. Thank you for listening.